Today we're going to do some chalk pastel techniques. We're going to try stippling, regular blending, this is to mix colors, feathering, cross-hatching, blending, layering, using the flat edge, and drawing with the point of the pastel. So I'm going to start with pointillism or stippling. This is going to be two or more colors that are similar to each other. So for instance, I could use green hues with yellow and some trees. This would be a great thing to do for trees or grass. So with any type of pastel, typically we're going to layer with the darker color first. So this is just making little dots. And if this is a tree, I probably want to pick an area that is a little bit darker where the shadow is catching. There's no sunlight, or there's less sunlight. And there's always going to be some darker spots in my little tree. You could use any color, imagine it as anything you'd like it to be. It could be a field of flowers. Next I'm going to grab my yellow-green, so that's my medium value here. Always want to layer darkest color to your mid-tone to your lightest value. It's a little bit opposite of what we might usually do with watercolor or sometimes other paints. Alright, so I've got a lot of this light green. Now I'm going to go in with yellow. And the yellow, I really want to hit the spots that I've missed so far. And as I'm making my dots, I'm pushing it in a little bit. I want to add a lot more over in these lighter areas. This might be like the top of the tree that's catching the most light. Up next, I like to work left to right so that I'm not getting any pastel on my hand. So I'm going to start here and go down and down and down, and then we'll move to the right, down, down, down. Okay? Feathering technique. So this is just hatching. You're making lines, but you're lifting up the pressure as you move, okay? So as you make the line strokes, you are lifting up and away from the paper. And we're only working in one direction while we do this. So now I'm going to go over top with my lighter color. It's nice and feathered. Now, as you start to collect dust, do not blow it because it will go into your lungs, and that is really bad for you. So you will just tap your paper on the side of the table or over a trash can towards the end. Now, regular blending. Apply a layer of pastel and follow with a contrasting color over. Or use your fingertips to blend and layer to get the desired hue, which is the desired color. So contrasting means either dark and light or farther away from each other on the color wheel. So I could do this dark green with yellow, or I can kind of start to get a little crazy here. Maybe I should switch colors. Go with a red and a yellow, I think would be really good. So with regular blending, I'm going to start coloring it in as if it was any other material. I'm going to lightly add value here. And this doesn't have to match the drawing on the left, but it is helpful. So now I'm going to go over top with the yellow with heavy pressure, making sure that I'm actually pushing those colored powders into each other. So I'm trying to kind of mix this a little bit down here, get the orange that I want, and I did not push any in here. So this is what it means, use your fingertips to blend. So you can also use a finger. I do not suggest your pointer finger because it's constantly touching and holding your pastel. I would use a finger that is clean. And you can kind of push the pastel into the paper. You can smudge it around and the look that you want. Okay? Next, using the flat edge. So I'm going to use a short pastel for this, and we're just using one of these flat ends here. Now this pastel is very dirty, so I'm not going to get much red. It's going to be pretty murky. But you can use the flat side to get a very quick application of color. Now, blending 2 or more colors to increase the hue or the color. So for instance, I could use this magenta, and I might want to add like this purple to blend those together. Hard to say which one's darker. This is very dirty, but it's not a dark hue. So I'm just going to color that in as if it's a regular, crayon or colored pencil, and I'm going to feather it to the right. And then I'm going to grab this guy and go over top with, medium heavy pressure. And feather. So pretty much this is the same type of method. It just might be using different colors. It just depends on your desired effect. Cross hatching. So we are using lines that crisscross, and these should be different colors, or it could be the same colors, but this is how you get texture. This is how you can change the tone of the color. So for instance, I may want to cross my dark green here and then come over top with my lighter green, and I may even want to hatch that a little bit more. And I may even want to come over top with the lighter yellow and blend that together. Layering. So you're overlapping thick layers of different colors. So for instance, I might want to layer my pink, and I can use the side of the pastel for some of this if I want to. I'm going to use the side of the blue pastel. Layering is simply not blending. You are literally only just putting colors on top of each other and leaving it as is, whatever that effect is. So this is great for certain flowers that may have multiple colors on the petal. Drawing with the point. So when you want a clean line, you're going to find an edge or a point and just draw the lines, okay? So I'm going to find the edge or the point. Oops, it broke. So this is a great way, it's like figuring, great way to get some different textures, or even to go back over outlines in certain areas. All right, flip to the back of your paper. And next we're going to do strokes with light pressure versus heavy pressure, blended with light pressure versus blended with heavy pressure, and we're going to apply it to some of these forms down here. So strokes with light pressure might be something like that. That is light pressure. Blended with light pressure, maybe I make a stroke with this interesting color. And maybe I'm going to layer over top light pressure with another color. I think I went a little bit too hard there. And then I can use my finger a little bit, light pressure, and push it in there. Next, maybe I'm going to use some heavy pressure. actually heavy pressure. And now more heavy pressure. So two very different looks here. Now blended with heavy pressure. So I'm going to use these two different colors, opposite sides, heavy pressure, and go right over top the other one. Now remember, we're not going to blow any of this. We're going to gently tap it. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to skip the fire. I'm going to create my apple. Now, I don't have a lot of reds in my box. I do have one. And then I have this very strange orange. So this is just what I have available in my box. I also have this peach color. So these would be great for the apple. I don't think I want them to be exactly the same tones here. I could make a green apple if you have more greens. I definitely have some good greens for a Granny Smith apple. So most apples, they're going to have a lighter ring around the top that might be yellow, and the part that's the most red be towards the bottom. In fact, if you have like a blue, let's see if I have a blue down here. Blues mixed with red would be a great way to get some shadow. So I'm going to use some of those line techniques. I want to get the texture if I can and add in that shadow. And then I'm going to go over top. However you guys want to approach this, you could mix heavy light pressure as you color your own apple. You do not have to copy my apple. So I'm going to use feathering technique here with some light strokes, and then I'm going to come in with that weird orange and bring that down into my apple. And I want to grab a yellow over here, maybe not with the green still on it. And I'm going to get the top of my apple yellow, and then add some streaks going downward, blend over top some of my white. I think that's a pretty apple right there. Add a little bit more, maybe this is a gala apple. Then I want to add in my leaf. Ooh, how much detail do we want to add into our leaf? I could use a really heavy line and then feather that just a little bit. And come back in with my lighter green. And blend on top. I'm so tempted to blow the paper. I bet you are too. But don't. We don't want to inhale that. So tap, tap, tap on the side. And then we can scoop our, dust into a trash can later. Now you also want to shade dark to light with your choice of chalk pastel. So dark to light, you could do like I did with the apple. Think of certain blues, purples, dark greens, something that's not going to turn your colors brown. You could layer first and then get to your mid-tone and then your light colors. So maybe watch this trick if you want. I'm going to add a little bit of blue here. And then I'm going to go over top with my red. And see how that made it darker? And then I'm going to get really, really light. And if I can find a white or a really light peachy color, that would be great. I'm going to start that on the other side and come in. There we go. So the key is knowing when to lighten your pressure so that this is blended really smoothly. All right, all done.